Stop trying to blame Black Americans for Tyla's flopping album. It ain't our fault. Her music is trash to some of us. And then she said she wasn't even black, so we let her have that. We let her have that so she can make her music for who her audience is for. Because it obviously isn't for us. So yeah, don't come over here getting mad at us.
Tyla album, EP, whatever she has out right now, flopped because of her super fans in South Africa. Because these super fans, they do not want anyone who's black in America to give her constructive criticism. Every time somebody come and say something about her, they have a problem with it. When the color thing happened, people came on this app and they were like, hey, you know, Tyla is at the Breakfast Club. This is geared towards black audience. She cannot say this. She cannot say that. Rah, 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 rah. They went crazy, calling people all kind of names. When the Haley situation happened, the same thing. When she, try to ask Haley, her peers, to hold her award, and we said, girl, you cannot do that. Like, that's your peer. Like, the vibe was a little off. They came, rah, 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 rah. Xenophobia this, xenophobia that. Oh, it's because, this is because of that. Calling people all kind of cotton pickers. For weeks, they were doing that. In our comments, just going crazy, telling us not to listen to her album, not to buy her album, not to interact with her. And we did. And now her EP flopped because the very people who were listening to her, because a lot of us, we were listening to her. And we were like, girl, if you want to make it, if you want to continue to be here, there are certain things you have to follow. She was not listening. And that's why she's in the predicament that she...
Wait, what? Tyla's mad at who? That's got to be a rumor. I know she's not mad at black women because of the album flopping. Like, mad at us?
So, apparently, black Americans are being blamed for the flopping of Tyla's album. Why? I mean, why would they be blamed? Hey family, welcome back to the channel. It is Sumi here, just in case you are seeing me for the very first time. I hope you do consider subscribing on the channel. Well, in today's episode, you will excuse my voice. I am having flu, and at the same time, you'll excuse my background. This is Africa. I'm in Africa. This is my background today. So I'm in the village. For those ones who know the village, it's some kind of a countryside. That is where I'm at. Yes, so in today's episode, what are we going to be reacting on? I came across these videos from many black Americans are literally pissed and they are so confused and they are like, why is Tyla putting the blame of her album not selling on us? Why are people blaming black Americans for Tyla's album failing to literally to be successful, to literally sell out? There is a time when Tyla came out and she was like, when she was on a certain interview and they asked her, are you black? And then she's like, no, I'm not black, I'm colored. That is a word that literally made most black Americans hate her. I am thinking many black Americans got biased and they're like, okay girl, since you are not black, you are just colored, okay. I don't understand how human beings be. I don't even understand why people are blaming black Americans right now for Tyla's album not selling out. Why do people keep on attacking black Americans? I mean, can't people just let these people just to be? Why? Why do people look for black Americans when things fail? But when they are at their success, they don't remember them. Now, it is true. One thing I know about black Americans, they are very supportive, and if they love you, they have already loved you, But if you try to be racist or disrespectful on them, then they are not going to deal with you. The very first mistake that Tyla did was to call herself colored but not black. Of course, that only sent a message of bias and hatred. it showed that Tyla really doesn't deal with Black Americans. She forgot that Black Americans are actually our people who literally support music because they love music. They will support you, you know. So I don't know what you guys think about this video. Let's continue watching these clips from these other creators, Black creators that have come out and talked about this incident. And let me know what you think down in the commentary.
Tyla, your album flopped because of your disrespectful South African fans. They thought after your record label spent all that money pushing you to the American market, right? And I actually like Push to Start and True for Dear. Those songs are actually cute when they come on in the club, to be honest. But your disrespectful South African fan base thought after your record company spent all that money to push you to America to get us to like you, which was another problem. We don't like to be told about anything. They're online being disrespectful. When you're trying to sell records in America, you should not disrespect the Black Americans. After the race didn't happen with you on the Breakfast Club, it may not have been your fault, but they definitely needed to damage control that better than the way they did, because we don't forgive shit like that. And we have, like, Black Americans have a specific a problem with Black people that we feel like think they're better than us, and it definitely gave that you thought you were better than us. So that's why you aren't selling no records, honey. We barely buy records from people that we like over here. We've been streaming and downloading Nation online since LimeWire came out back in the day. You think we finna buy yours? No, baby, they don't work like that. The American market that y'all act like we don't influence the world does influence the world, and that's why your shit ain't selling, baby, because we haven't forgiven you yet. People, no shade, the South Africans made me, after I fussed with them, I was like, oh, turn Tyla ass off, because I don't want to listen to her either. So yeah, they really fucked that shit up for you too. So learn to be nice to people and learn that the American market actually does control a lot of shit.
The fact that Tyla only sold 3K units on her new album is actually hilarious to me, because when people were calling her an uppity African, she thought it was so cute to double down and put it in her bio and try to, like, clock people thinking that she was gonna come out on top. But girl, it don't work like that. The people is what hold you up. If you think you're gonna step on people to get to the top, that's not how it works. Literally, it's us fans and people who support you. If you don't have no support, you're not gonna keep going. Like, what makes you think people want to listen to you if you're being like a stink mean girl vibes? Like, it never gave that. And it's like, girl, you literally just came in the game. You don't have the status to give Mariah Carey, Nicki Minaj energy. Like, no, it's not giving that. And then when she was at the Breakfast Club interview, and she kept having her publicist or whoever like, oh, you can't ask her that, you can't ask her that. Girl, you literally just came out. Literally, you are not Mariah Carey, Beyonce, freaking Nicki Minaj, where you get to curate what questions people ask you. Like, no, if you don't want to answer it, then you can say, like, no comment or like keep quiet. But like, you can't just be like pointing at your publicist like, girl, you ain't no diva. And your numbers reflect that. Literally. The only 2 songs I know is her viral songs. I don't know no other song of hers.
Tyla barely sold freaking 4,000 copies in her first week for her new EP because of the disrespect she displayed towards Black American people. To everyone in the diaspora that keeps disrespecting Black Americans, what have we learned from this? What have we learned from this? I'll tell you. Nothing moves and nothing shakes without Black Americans. This is coming from a Haitian American man. Nothing moves or shakes without Black Americans. Nothing. How you go from having one of the best songs of the decade and Water, and you got an EP that came out and only sold 4,000 first week? First week? And you got financial backing and all that. Please.
And that's exactly what Tyla get for being weird as hell with people over here when we was just trying to tell her that we don't use the word color over here, but I'm colored. We don't use that shit over here. Then you got people from South Africa being weird and shit. And then, you know what I'm saying, not to mention that Zulu shit that y'all was doing. That's what y'all get, bro. Pack Tyla up and send her ass the fuck back, bro, because her numbers is cheeks. All right? She over with, G. We ain't gonna force shit on to us. That's not how that works. We would never do that to anybody else. But better luck next time.
Tyla album flopped. She only sold nearly 4,000 on the release in America. Duh. She says she wasn't black. She says she was colored. And then you had an opportunity to rectify yourself on The Breakfast Club with Charlemagne the God. And your team said y'all should not have discussions about blackness. You're in America, a country that everything is rooted in race. The Black Americans try to educate you on that, like, hey, you know, don't use that here. You refuse to take the education. You decided to go with this, oh, well, I'm an uppity African. So the Black Americans were like, okay, cool. You know, we finna fall back. And they fell back, and so did your streams. Why are y'all surprised? And then what made the matter worse was the South Africans got in the comments and said, Black Americans think everything revolves around them. In America? Yes, in America, everything is based on race. And y'all thought she was bigger than the program. And she learned very quickly. Instead of you taking the education to connect with your black audience in America, you wanted to be an uppity African. So you got the streams. And your fan base said you was big in South Africa and Europe. Why didn't Europe and South Africa stream her music and put her to the level of success y'all thought she was going to be? Why are y'all coming for the Black American women? I'm so confused. Tyla has always been talentless. Her music and her sound is not unique. She can't dance. She's not a strong vocalist. She has no depth. Her personality is basic. What was we supposed to like? I don't even have a single Tyla song on none of my playlists. Not my Afrobeat playlist, not my Piano playlist, not my R&B girl playlist. She's not on nothing. That's how talentless she was to me. And I'm African. So yeah, good luck, Tyla.
So Tyla's album dropped. I didn't even know her album dropped. For the first week, the sales were 3.5K in America, and that is considered a flop. Her fans are blaming the Black Americans. I'm confused because it's like, how is it our fault? She flopped. Like, why are you blaming us? Like, there isn't other people who listen to her too. Like, what? Like, honestly, I like some of Tyla's music, but I also feel like there's a disconnect between her and the Black fans in the US. Like, I don't know where the disconnect is, but it's definitely there. Like, first of all, she came out last year, right? She came out of nowhere. I'm not even gonna lie, she came out of nowhere to me. Her song Water came out and I was like, oh, okay, this is a bop. And she put out other songs after that. She's very pretty. She could sing, she could dance, but it's just something about her that is just, I don't want to say off. It's just a disconnect between her and the American fans out here. It's like we know her, but it's like we don't know her at the same time. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know how to quite explain it in detail right now at this moment. And another thing that most likely put a taste in most Black Americans' mouths with Tyla is when she said she wasn't black. She said she wasn't black. She said she was colored. And we like, but most of your music and everything, like, they're trying to push it on us. They're trying to force it on us. So it's just like, it's definitely a disconnect there.
This South African girl gonna get in my comments talking about we just mad because we didn't create Tyla. Girl, we created Beyonce and Michael Jackson, bitch. You think we give a fuck about some Tyla? Be fucking for real.
Two things ruined Tyla's debut. Number one, her fan base in South Africa. Number two, kind of the reputation South Africans have right now. So let's start off with number one. As someone who has personal beef with some of the Tyla fans from South Africa, and it's a little bit more one-sided now because quite a few of those people are blocked, her fans over there have been insane. From saying like just really nasty things in a general sense about Americans, specifically African Americans, to the comments I get in my own videos. I remember I posted a video of Tyla, like the camera at the MTV Music Awards caught her dancing, zoomed in on her, she stopped dancing. I thought it was just like a really funny, cute moment. And I had people literally calling me a fat, dirty black cow, saying that Americans are so entitled and act like everything belongs to them, like she's not mine, like all sorts of crazy stuff for no reason. And as far as I know, a lot of this stuff was never really addressed. She didn't really tell her fans to like calm the fuck down. And it just snowballed into this thing where I think a lot of people who talk about music, pop culture, all of this stuff, fashion, they didn't want to touch it, because why would they? Why would I talk about Tyla and give any type of feedback that could potentially get me harassed for the next 48 hours, 2 weeks, or 2 months? That's not a joke. I've had to go into my settings and have certain blocked words for language I don't even speak, because people were just being so fucking heinous. And unfortunately, Google Translate is a thing. And then the second part, like, the white South Africans were acting wild. Like, the hate comments are a lot, but we had a guy in the White House doing fucking ketamine. I don't even know if he was sober when his baby was on his shoulders. One of his feeding them babies too. Out of his 20 baby mom, I don't think it's 20. I think it's 14. I'm not even exaggerating. I think he has 14 baby mamas in some way. So there was that guy, and then the white South Africans who were leaving the genocide, not a genocide, leaving the apartheid that they helped to create, and coming over here and taking American farmland. I'm not over that. That shit is insane to me. They took American farmland that was seized because of some really dumb, shady bureaucrat stuff. But I digress. So South Africa as a whole, not having the best moments in the cultural zeitgeist. And I think that led to a lack of support for her. I think there was a lot of Americans who felt like, okay, you don't want me to play her music? Fine, I fucking won't. I won't play it. I won't talk about it. I'll leave it alone. Matter of fact, what a move like Jenny. Okay, Jenny had the same choreographer for the Like Jenny music video, and I was talking to someone about it in the comment section, and they had mentioned that like that person had worked with Tyla, and I had someone in my fucking comment section like, leave Tyla's name out your motherfucking mouth. We're just talking about the person that did the choreo and they're different clients. Like it's been insane. And again, I feel bad. I think she has all the potential to be the next kind of like bad gal-esque type of girl, but she had such a really beautiful spin on her own flair. I think it's a very like weird time, because even though Afrobeats aren't really going anywhere, there's this kind of like cooling of it for some places with corporate greed, and they're trying to invest all their time and money into K-pop. It's been so weird, and I really want her to do well, but her fans have been so fucking horrible to me. Like, this is the first time I've talked about her in months, and I watch all her music videos and I listen to a lot of her songs. I would almost be a fan if people wouldn't have been so goddamn mean. That's the same thing with Taylor Swift, but that's a conversation for a whole different day. But yeah, just some thoughts.
Tyla's album didn't flop because of Black Americans. Tyla's album is flopping because her fans essentially set her up for failure by being xenophobic, especially towards Black Americans, and claiming that we lack culture. After her using the term color to describe herself, a term that is frequently used for her specific ethnic group within South Africa, but is derogatory and roots from racism and slavery in America. Black Americans have single-handedly been the backbone for American music throughout Hollywood and mainstream media forever, essentially. And a lot of genres of music are rooted in Black American culture. So as a foreigner, to not educate yourself on how certain terms that may be familiar to you are not appropriate to use when you are going to another country and when you are trying to assimilate into a new culture is really just a failure on her PR and her management's part. However, to play devil's advocate, Black Americans have also made it a point to separate themselves from Africans. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because we are very different culturally. as is every single different country in Africa. But we have made it a point to specifically separate ourselves, and not necessarily even in the best ways. A lot of times it has been very derogatory. I remember growing up, I used to hear the term African booty scratcher used to refer to Africans as primitive or less than and lacking. And it essentially was a slur to separate us from them. So with African music becoming more popular within mainstream American music, instead of bridging the gap, it has only increased that gap. With Africans not wanting to be grouped together with Black Americans and vice versa, and celebrating those downfalls and differences, instead of using our similarities to be grouped together, because that's what we'll all be seen as.
This is what they call to feel the pain of Black American absence. So at this point, I think people do have taste and preferences. So I think most Black Americans really didn't like Tyla's music because it's not their taste, maybe, and that is why her album really didn't sell out, and for the fact that one of the most supporting group is the Black Americans. So I think because they didn't support her, that is why her album had to flop. You know, I've come across videos of some of these Black Americans asking the South Afrikaners, why didn't they support their own? Are they broke? Why? Or South Africans themselves, they don't like Tyla? It's just a question that is being left hanging. This shows how the world really needs Black Americans in the community. We really need these people, because now imagine Tyla, who is an artist from South Africa, now she is blaming Black Americans, literally different countries, for her album flopping. How? Why didn't her own people, South Africans, support her music? Why didn't they support her album? Why are Black Americans concerned about this issue? Why do people expect Black Americans to always rescue them all the time? I myself, I am an African. But my failure, or let's imagine if my YouTube maybe doesn't make it on here, I can never come out and say that, oh, it's failing because Black Americans. I can never blame them. I can never, and besides, you can never force somebody to love you. I don't understand, like, why is she forcing herself onto Black Americans so badly, Tyla? Why? By the way, Black Americans are very supportive people, because my content, I am an African, always I get comments like, you as an African, why don't you create content that is about your country? The reason is because we know Black Americans are the most supportive people, and most especially if they see that you are Black, you are a sister, they are going to support you. Unless you annoy them, then they will be done with you. They'll be done with you. So I am thinking Tyla must have done something to these Black Americans, and that's why maybe they didn't support her album. Yeah. And that is the reason why she's literally coming out and crying. Maybe now in form of begging Black Americans, and why did you buy why did you support my album, and now you see I'm almost failing with my music career. So you guys, I don't know what you think down in the commentary. What do you think about this controversy? I don't know why Tyla is even entitled to Black Americans' choice. I don't know. So I guess I should stop here. Please forgive my voice today. I'm having flu, but I think I'll be better next week. Bye. Have a lovely day.